And he would always just say, he would say, trust Diaz. And I'm like, who's Diaz? Why should I trust him? Michael J was, this guy is a die-hard Trust Diaz fan right here. So much so that if you've ever been to Crystal Palace where he works, he greets his tables. He'll say, hi there, my name's Michael J. I sat at the table of Luke, and I will be your server. My wife, whom I'm well pleased with, and I worship at Northland of Church Distributed. Can I offer you some tea? I learned about the trustees through Michael J. That is correct. Michael J. would also in servanthood do have themed parties, which I later learned that the themes were pretty much what he could find at Walt Disney World's costuming department. So if he could get 50 stuff from Primetime Cafe, we were going to have a 50 style party. But Michael J. always was dressed the best of all those. So for the longest time, though, during servanthood, I thought that Michael J. had a digital clock that didn't have zeros or fives. Because he'd always have us meet at 7:47, 8:42. Everything was never rounded up or down. It was, right on the money. But it did help us to remember, so thank you for that. And I'll buy you a digital clock for your birthday. And then, of course, lastly, who can ever mistake Michael J.'s laugh? Seriously, I think that had it been probably about the same time, I think Hanna-Barbera used Michael J.'s laugh for Fred Flintstone, to be the whatchamacallit for Fred Flintstone, the idea behind Fred Flintstone. So I think it was also the first GPS system was his laugh. If you were at Northland, a church distributed back then, Northland, community church, and you were the pastor, whether it be Mike Atkins or Joel Hunter, and you heard this, you knew instinctively that Michael J. was somewhere in the theater. So, although that does mean that he can never be part of a witness protection program, because all they have to do is just tell jokes, and they'd be able to find him just like that. So, outside of all that, though, Michael J. Did pursue friendship with me, and has just proven over the years just what kind of a friend he is. He's truly just been a blessing to my life, and I'm just so grateful that he did pursue, because I was not in any kind of mood to have any kind of real deep friendships, because all my friendships were in North Carolina, where I just moved from, and yet Michael J. was one of my first closest friends here in the area, and through Michael J. and his persistence of 2 years to get me to do this Trust Diaz, I've got to know all these other great people as well. So Michael J., I toast you if I had a drink, but I do want to say thank you and happy birthday. Thank you. Happy 40th. So this is a time for anybody who has a story that they want to share, funny and or if you just want to share a couple thoughts, what Michael J. has meant to you during this time. That water turned orange, and now it's purple. Sorry, shiny object. Squirrel! Hi there. Okay, but this is your opportunity. The floor is yours. You can stay seated. You can stand up. You can come to his side right here. Do a hat dance around him, whatever you'd like. Okay, so. No pressure.
And I remember we were driving back. We went to drop him off. We dropped your wife off. And we were driving back, and Jeff and I were like, man, we're going to run into this guy, Michael J. We're going to run into him somehow on the way home, and he's going to want us to reunion group. And we both sat there like, we don't want to do it. That guy's crazy. We don't want to do it. And so we said, let's stop at Wendy's.
Wendy's, yeah.
Wendy's. Sure enough, and there's Michael J. And we're like, oh.
It's a glowing story, isn't it?
Reunion group, come to reunion group, come to reunion group. And he sat there, and of course, you guys want a reunion group with me? All right. And he, so it was, it's when you live in those apartments over there in Metro West, and Jeff and I kind of reluctantly went, and we show up, and there's this spread.
Best breakfast in town.
I mean, it was better than any Golden Corral, buffet buffet, anything. It was just massive spread. There was tiers of muffins. There was an omelet bar there. There was. It was, you know, mimosas. I think maybe that's why we stayed. I don't know. But yeah. I think that it was amazing. And the funny thing is every week we came, the stack got a little bit smaller. Smaller. You know, to the point where like, can you guys bring donuts now? It was like that. It was like, you know, we kind of felt like we got ripped off after a while. But one of those things where I know Jeff and I look back on that, and I'm sure he'll attest to it, and that was probably one of those divine appointments that night when we were driving back and decided to stop at Wendy's, and hopefully thinking that he was going to go to McDonald's instead. And it was a night that I know changed my life, and that was getting to know him. And because he's such a wonderful man, he's got the heart of gold. Here's a good example. We just, as none of you know, we just moved to Tampa. I mean, the spur of the moment, bang, we're going. Okay. He called me up right after I started and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm working. I'm coming over to visit you." And he and the baby loaded up the truck and they came on over, you know. And that's just the kind of guy he is. We sat around and talked for an hour, and it was the best hour we ever had. So I know one thing: the Lord put you on this earth for a reason. That's to make people happy. And you're one of those guys that made me very happy. So I love you, brother.
First of all, let me just say that Michael J. I don't know how well you guys know about his spelling.
What spelling?
I asked him to do something for me once. He's going to print these cards up that we're going to use for the meals, and everybody's going to write things down. 5 of the freaking words were misspelled in this card, you know, and I printed them up. And so I'm like, get a dictionary, dude. You know, come on, use spell check. I don't know what the problem is here. The other thing, too, is Michael J., I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's this annoying freaking dog. WTF? I mean, you know, what is that? I mean, he's got a little trademark underneath it. It looks like you dumped the dog. I don't know what the heck that's there for. As a joke, Michael J. Yeah, as a joke, when Michael J said he was getting married, I actually took this dog and decorated it with like hair, like Sherry with a little bow. That's Sherry's dog, you know. I never got a response on you.
I asked for a dog. I still don't have one.
Oh, okay.
You got a baby.
Michael J, you know, they invited me to, hey, we want you to join our reunion group. I got stuck at that same restaurant they're telling you about, and he invited me to the reunion group that they're at. And now I realize the first time I was there was a lot of bacon and spread every there, and then afterwards it kind of evaporated. You know, but the whole time I was there, we're getting there, and like, I don't know about you guys, but I have to go to work at 8 o'clock. And you sit in there, and I'm sitting there with Jeff and Daryl, and I'm sitting there with Kelly, and these guys, and it's going like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm like, these guys got jobs? You know, I thought they're all independently wealthy. I couldn't figure it out. You know? I didn't know you had like this evening job. I didn't know at the time. But one time I'll tell you, Michael J actually saved our lives. Let me just tell you this story. This is a real story. We're driving CFTV number 2. We're going down, meeting with Steve Van Ugen. We're going to go and we're going to have this, it was basically the heads meeting, and we're heading down, and it's just, it was kind of foggy. It was in the morning, you know, your brain's kind of foggy, and we go through this toll booth, and I'm thinking it's a 4-lane highway, okay? And so we're driving this car going really slow. I don't know what's wrong with it. And so I'm thinking, oh, I'll just move over to this other lane. So while we're driving along, and this is going on for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, and then Michael J in the back goes, "So, Frank, how long are you going to drive in the wrong lane?" So I say, "Oh," and I pull over, and all of a sudden here comes an 18-wheeler.
Out of the fog.
Yeah. And Michael J goes, "That's pretty cool." So appreciate that, man. No, Michael J, I remember one time we were sitting there and you know, sharing about my issues with my kids and stuff, and Michael J. Gave me a call one time, started talking to me, and I almost thought I was going to think, who is this guy telling me advice on kids and marriage when he's not married, you know? But God really blessed him with this insight, and so I kind of humbled myself and listened to him, and he was very ministering to me in a time when I really needed it the most. And you know, I really respected that. And just like Daryl said, he'd call up when you just needed him the most. I don't know why. Just out of the blue, he'd call you, and you just needed to talk to him at that time. And it's like a Michael J. moment, you know, and it's a blessing to have that. I've enjoyed serving with him, being in part of his reunion group, and he has just been a real ministering effect in my life. Love him to death, love his laugh, and his wife too, and his family, and I'm just glad I'll be a part of his life.
I've worked with Michael J for about 5.5 years now, I'd say, and I'm part-time in the restaurant. And a few months ago, Michael J was talking about how he was going to celebrate his birthday, and him and Sherry had been discussing, should they go away, should they have a party, and he mentioned this roast word, and I was like, oh, roast, what a lovely idea, you know, the trimmings, you're going to have some roast potatoes. And he goes, no, you don't know what a roast is, do you? And I said, no, what is a roast? And he said, oh, everybody gathers around and they tell you stories and they kind of make fun of you. And I said, what a horrible way to spend your birthday. I thought it was an awful idea. So anyway, so I said, I'd go with going away, because personally a roast is not a happy birthday present, but it seemed like his cup of tea. And then she announced that's what she was going to do. So I was like, well, at least I know that what a roast is, so fine. So I'll write a few things down. So I did. So it appears I ended up being the representative from the Crystal Palace. And I think it's only fair to say that when we think of Michael J at work, or when I think of Michael J at work, 3 words come to mind. One would be singing, the other one is accents, and the other one is occasional clumsiness. There we are. Now, we've already had an accident with the croutons earlier, but I don't think many people saw that, so that's okay. So when it comes to singing, I actually care to sing as well. I'll be in the side station, la 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 la. In walks Michael J. The volume goes from 2 to 10, and the side station clears out. Usually that means nobody wants to listen, especially at Christmas time when all the Christmas carols are coming up. Fair enough. Accents. I love Michael J's accents. I know that you don't care for them sometimes. I just think it's wonderful. And you can quite often tell the nationality of the guests Michael J currently has by the accent in which he's speaking. And when we are working together, I think I do bring out the British accent in you. I think we've had occasional guests actually ask if you may be British, which does tickle us pink. And I think there's certain people that don't care for the accents, but I find it very entertaining.
And it's not on purpose.
And he has, I have to say, he has been my translator quite often from the British English to the American English, and you know, that has helped me out, especially with the word roast, as we've already discovered. Well, let me see. Sorry, I had to write it down, I'm going to forget. Let me see. Okay, so talking of accents, this did lead me to, we were speaking with some of you earlier, a trip to England. Back in 2006, Sherry and Michael J hopped across the pond. It just so happened I was visiting my family as well at the same time, and it was suggested that we meet up in my home city of Cambridge. Now, for years, my mum has been desperately trying to get my husband to take this bus tour around the city of Cambridge, double-decker bus, open top, learn the history of Cambridge. My husband really wasn't interested. Well, we'll do it with you. So, we were going out to Cambridge Station to meet Michael J and Sherry for the first time meeting Sherry. And it's a glorious June summer's day in England. It's raining, it's grey, and there they are in their Macs and their umbrellas, you know, meeting them at the train station. But we tried to make it happy. We boarded the bus, we went around Cambridge, and my husband's face was very long and longer. And I have to say, I live in the city, I think it's wonderful on a summer's day, but the actual bus tour really wasn't that exciting. Although I think we tried to be polite, saying, oh yes, very interesting, very nice. We actually spent most of our time talking about their vacation so far. And then we got off and we decided to make the most of the weather, put the brollies down, stood outside a couple of colleges, said cheese for the camera, for the memories. And then we seemed to find possibly the smallest tea shop in Cambridge. They had 3 tables, huddled around, watched the rain outside, made pastries and drank tea and had fun. Didn't we really? Battered sausage, that's right. And it was very enjoyable. Before I finish, I would just like to say a couple of things which I think hopefully you take in kindness. Michael J is the most meticulous person that I work with. We have to throw towels into the side station, there is a cubby, and you throw them in. Michael J finds the time to fold each one very nicely and lay them in. And you can just walk in the side station and go, Michael J's on his towels. It's very nice. It's a neatly stacked. Equally, we give cupcakes to the children, happy birthday. We have a tray, everybody plops them on the tray and throws them in the cooler. But much, I think this is wonderful, Michael J individually puts a candle in each cupcake for us, sprinkles them already, then covers them and puts them in the cooler. So when we need them, we just help ourselves and we're all set. So I thank you on behalf of everybody in our side station for that. And I think there I'll wrap up and say I thank you very much. I thank you for your friendship. It's a pleasure to know both of you and to work with you, Michael J. Joel is forever in your debt for doing the Cambridge bus tour. I thank you for helping us do that. And it's strange enough to say that it took me 28 years and not one but 3 Americans to make myself do the Cambridge bus tour.
Great stuff, a ton of great stuff. I wrote it down. But that's not it. That's for a friend's wedding. It's really good though. It's really a lot of stuff. Michael J, you are actually it's just squiggly lines. It's a prop. No, I just you've always encouraged me, and your singles. That's why I met Michael J and Sherry for singles. They both encouraged me to get involved, and they're both like after you, and in a good way. Not like not like the IRS style, just in a very compassionate style. But I've always really appreciated when you give me a call and just watching out for me, and it was really cool. And it really meant a lot when you got me this T-shirt that it was in Spanish, and I'm not sure if it's. I think it might be from the Bible, but it's por favor manténgase alejado de las puertas.
Please stand clear of the door.
You didn't find my list, too, did you?
No.
Okay. He was snooping on my Facebook.
I had to delete mine. People were fine of me.
Okay. Speaking of singing, we have a very musical house in our house. And Michael J. Has anyone seen the movie Happy Feet?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it, and I've heard it's about like parents who love to dance or something, but they have a child who like doesn't dance or something like that.
Sing and he dances.
Sing? Okay. Anyway, before we had Kimberly, he's like, "What if she doesn't sing? What if she doesn't sing?" We go around la la la, singing all the time. But I think she'll like to sing because we sing to her all the time. But Michael J has this very special thing about him when it comes to singing. If anyone has ever been around him long enough, you'll realize that he doesn't know the lyrics, probably any song in the world. So one day, this is after we were married, and he's just zooming around the house, and he starts going, "Movers of the heart, movers of the heart." And I'm like, what are you singing? And he goes, "What? That's not the words?" That's his classic response. I go, and it's not just that song, trust me. It's many, many songs. And I go, what? Or no, that's what he says. He goes, "What? It's not the words?"
Say the real words.
The real words are grooves in the heart. Grooves in the heart. And he's like, grooves in the heart. And he's getting down, man. He's like, what? Okay, so fortunately, Vicky was over at our house one night. And this was, Camberly was probably only
6 weeks old,
if that. I mean,
yeah.
she was young.
Yeah.
And so Michael J is singing, and he's singing some nursery rhymes to her. And so he says, "Okay, Kimberly," and he's just singing. Vicky and I are kind of doing our own thing. We're in the same room, but we're doing our own thing. And he's like, "Patty cake, a baker's man. Bake me your cake as fast as you can. Throw put it in the oven, and out pops the gingerbread man. And Vicky and I just crack up, and he's like, "What? That doesn't work?" Yeah. And then the last little ode to Michael J. for the lyrics I'll do also has to do with Hamberly. And it's his version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And so his version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is, twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the sky so high, with a tellus in his eye. And so I'm like, honey, what's a tellus? And he's like, well, I don't know. And he's like, what? Okay. So, also something, I don't know if any of you know this about Michael J., but he can be fully functional. He thinks he's fully functional when you've woken him up from something. Yeah. Not so much, but he likes to put on a good front. So as an example, I was in Tallahassee on a business trip, and you know, I like to take Michael J. with me on my business trips. They just happen to fall on his days off oftentimes. So we were up in Tallahassee on a business trip, and we of course just had our one car, and so he had dropped me off, and my meeting was over, and so I called him. I said, hey honey, you know, are you almost here? And he's like, yeah, I'm on Capitol, which the name of the street in Tallahassee is Capitol Circle. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. You know, you're right around the corner. I'll see you in a minute. So like 10 minutes goes by, and I'm like, man, he said he was on Capitol, which means Capitol Circle, and my phone rings, and it's him, and he goes, hey. And I'm like, hey. He goes, did I just talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, you're on Capitol Circle, right? And he's like, and I'm like, you were sleeping, weren't you? And he's like, yeah. Okay, and then early in our relationship, and this was way before we were dating, I actually had a birthday party at my and my old roommate's house, and Michael J. came. And so, I mean, many of us who know Michael J., you know, when I first met him, you know, I served with him in singles and servanthood, and I was like, oh, he's such a godly man. And oh gosh, Michael J., you know. Oh. And so we're at our house and we're playing the game Scattergories. Now, whoever's played Scattergories before, you know, you have a letter and you have to come up with something that starts with that letter. So the category was movies and the letter was D. And the more D's you get in the title of something, you get extra points. So, we're playing, and it's time for everyone to read what movie they came up with that started with the letter D. And remember, the more D's you get, the better. So we're going around, you know, and someone says Dallas or whatever, and Michael J. says, Debbie does Dallas! And I was like, oh. Wow.
That's a 3.
And that's what he said. He's like, come on, that's 3 points.
3 points.
Okay. Yes, I actually also, my final story will be also while we were on our European trip in 2006. Now, Lorraine mentioned the accent, and I don't know how many of you guys have, you know, experienced this, but Michael J. does have a wandering accent, and the entire time that we were in Ireland, he thought he was Irish. And so we would be on the bus, or we would be in the hotel room at night, and he would be speaking in an Irish accent. And while some people might think that's cute for a moment or something like that, when you're on vacation with your husband and he's completely speaking in an Irish accent the entire time, it gets a little annoying. And he's like, what? What? I'm not doing it on purpose. What? So a few months later, he was actually editing the video from our trip, and he's like, oh my gosh, why was I talking like that? I'm like, hello? I do just want to say, Michael J. and I laugh a lot in our marriage, and we have a lot of fun together. And sometimes we laugh so hard. I mean, our best times are, you know, at the end of the night, and all is said and done. And sometimes we'll just be there and laughing. And you know, one time.
Not that one, no.
He's a little mischievous. He's got this little mischievous side about him. So I will tell you that one night before we were falling asleep, I leaned over to like grab my pillow out of the bed, and I guess he could not resist himself. He just saw it, and he pushed me out of the bed. And I got up and I was like, what did you just do? I can't believe you pushed me out of the bed. And we laughed so hard that night. It's like, he couldn't breathe. He was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know. So anyway, we laugh a whole lot. And I love Michael J. so much. And Michael J. is God's special gift for me. And honey, I know I haven't told you this in a while, but you love me so well. And you've taught me how to love others. I'm still learning, but you teach me how to love other people well too. And I'm so happy that you've been around for 40 years. And I look forward for us to spending 40 more years
Throw in the pool.
Oh, here he comes.
Let's burn more stuff.
All right, I don't have a single agenda. I just think there's a few things I want to say about Michael J. And it's going to end with the fact that he's probably done one of the single most annoying things I've ever had to endure for a couple of months, which I'll explain at the end. But before I get to that, it was so annoying. But before I get to that, a couple of sincere thoughts about Michael J. And we all know how lucky we are to know him. And he's got a quality about him that is unfortunately unique, which is he's not the kind of person, and you know, we all know people that when they come in the room, it's that, hey, here I am attitude. With Michael J., it's always a, hey, there you are. I mean, he's just phenomenal at making other people feel special. He's done it for me. I'm sure he's done it for everybody in here, and that's a gift. And there's a lot we can learn from him. So a few more nice things about Michael J. I mean, it's been, I'll get to the good stuff, but it really has been fortunate for me, as Daryl unfortunately absolutely spot on recanted. We basically lost a bet to one another and ended up getting to know this guy. It's really bad. Here he comes. Dude, he's going to do it. What are we going to say? All right. God, then all the way home, we're really going to do it, aren't we? And it was the best thing that could have happened to us. But I mean, it's been a joy to spend time learning the adventures of Michael J. and just the thoughts that I would always have about Michael J. He's always so warm and he's always so sincere. And I'm just very lucky to have him as a friend. And we've all seen Michael J. put other people so far in front of himself. And again, there's just a lot of things that I look at. A lot of people, I have a lot of respect for pretty much everybody in here, and Michael J.'s, you know, hell, a few people, he's top of the list. Because I think it's just really stunning how many people we all know, and not a single one of them has anything bad to say about Michael J. Williams. No matter how we know him and in what realm of life, I'm yet to see anybody say, yeah, I know him, and then not want to have a conversation about him. So, but God, there are times I just hate you. And yeah, sometimes it's 6 o'clock in the morning when he wants to get together for a reunion group or whatever. But the one that's the most annoying is the one that I have to tell people, because we all know Michael J. to be pretty confident. We all know Michael J. to not be bashful about anything. But Daryl knows what I'm thinking of, Frank knows what I'm thinking of, Kelly knows what I'm thinking of, and if I'm going to violate any privilege, well, strike me down. But
It's all right, go ahead.
you've probably heard the story before. But I'll never forget the hours upon hours. He basically had to browbeat him into telling us about you.
Oh my God.
It's exhausting, right?
Yeah, it was
I was about to just cut his throat.
Just marry the girl.
He made me put
He
hate
did
in.
not.
I was just gonna say, it got so desperate.
He wouldn't kiss and tell.
Yeah.
He
No,
would
it
not.
got so. I mean,
He wouldn't kiss.
That's even better.
it got so desperate we had to play hangman. So I don't want to. Well, you guys, it's not important. It's like, what? She has like totally occupied your thoughts for 4 months.
Yep.
You're gonna come here and insult our intelligence and say it's not that important. We got to the point where we had to play retarded hangman.
Yep.
And nobody knew how you spelled your name at the time, so we're like, I got nothing. I got a C, I got an I.
Yep.
Is she a dancer? What is this? Because he just wouldn't tell us about you. It was terrible. So it was the most annoying thing, but you should be complimented because that was how important it was that he got it right.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That was just, it was the most important thing that I ever had to labor through with an adult male. Anyway, it's when it was worth it. It was worth it. We all finally got to that point, did we not, where we basically did look you in the eye and go, dude, I'm starting to hate you. And I'm afraid she might be too. How you feel. Get over it and get on with it, that kind of thing. So we're glad that he did. I think he's working the hat so well that I think we should all pass this little ukulele around and wish him a happy birthday. Happy 40th, buddy. We love you to death. And if there's anything anyone in this room could ever do for you, we'd cross the earth to do it simply because we know you do it for us first. So we all love you. Happy birthday.
I thought you were gonna play hangman there for a second. It's like, end!
RST.